Chapter 1, Basic Elements of a Medical Word. So Chapter 1 is unlike any other chapter in this course. It's a little different. It does not have a term list with it. It does have homework, but it does not have a term list with it. Basically, we are going to show you the word parts, show you how to pronounce them, and kind of build a foundation for the rest of the course. So in the language of medicine, I would say that most, this is the language of medicine, and it is used by healthcare providers so that we're using something standard. We break down any medical term like so with word root, combining form with a combining vowel, and I'll show you that in a second, suffixes and prefixes. Okay, so the word root, actually, let me go back and show you something. This will be my example. Hopefully this works. I think I can make text, yes. Okay, so this will be my example. Oh, I don't like yellow. Let's make it a different color. Let's make it blue. Okay, polysomnography. So that's my example, and I always tell people, go ahead and Google it, and you'll realize why you cannot use Google for this course. If you were to Google polysomnography, you're going to find that it is something to the extent of a sleep study. And while that is correct, it is not correct for this course. And I'll show you what I mean. So the word root, and I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite polysomnography on here, is somno. It's actually, bear with me, I'm kind of playing with the tools here. I'm going to break it down. Oop, nope, that's too thick. Okay, let's try that again. Polysomnography. Okay. And I've got a pen tool. Well, let's use the pencil. Let's see if the pencil is better. Okay, so I'm making little marks here. In this example, somn is your word root, S-O-M-N, and that means sleep. Is the foundation of the main meaning of the word. Usually, all of our medical terms are derived from Latin or Greek. That is important for you to know. Hint, hint, hint. Latin or Greek. And there's usually at least one word root in most medical words. Now, there may be more than one. Sometimes medical words, for example, heart and blood may come from English or French, or if you're a native Spanish speaking person, then sometimes you'll recognize some of our word roots. So in this example, somn is the word root, and it's usually derived from Latin or Greek, and it means sleeps. Okay. Here's some further examples. Hepat in hepatitis. So we would do this. Tonsil in tonsillectomy. Gastra. Oops, I really should put that right here. Gastra in gastroma. Larynge in laryngitis. Those are your word roots. Okay. So combining forms. Let me go ahead and put my example down here, polysomnography. And as I said, let's make sure it's pencil, not that big, thick pen. Somno. So somno is the combining form. So somn is a word root, and somno is the combining form. All that means is that we've used a vowel, usually O, and that's important for you to know. The O is usually the combining vowel. It can sometimes be I, it can sometimes be E. But I like to use the example of a sandwich. If you've got a sandwich and you've got two pieces of bread, your prefix and your suffix on either end, and you have some kind of meat in the middle or vegetables in the middle, the combining vowel is your condiments. It's your mustard, it's your mayo, it's your ketchup. So it really has no meaning of its own. It doesn't do anything except blend the sounds together. So rather than saying polysomnography, we like it flows better if we say polysomnography. So that O, that combining vowel, just allows it to kind of sound a little better and flow a little better. So the O is the combining vowel. Okay. And together, somno is a combining form. So here's some examples. Mammo, we've got O again. Psycho, in psychology, we've got O. Laryngospasm, we've got O. All of these are examples of O's. Okay. So word root or combining form. In this example, we've got hepat, that's word root. Hepato is combining form. Gastra, word root. Gastro, combining form. The suffix can be thought of as either slice of the bread or the caboose, and it does change. It absolutely does change the meaning of the word. Very important. Let me emphasize to you that you really do need to know those suffixes, and you need to know them early on in the course. They're contained in most medical words, and every time we learn a new body system in this course, you're going to need to know those suffixes. Okay, some examples, and you don't need to know the meanings right at this moment. We're going to do a whole chapter on suffixes, but here's some examples. Ectomy, itis, oma, tomy, scope, or oma. Okay, the prefix. Now, you may or may not have a prefix, not contained in all medical words. And many are the same as in the English language. For example, bicycle, with bi meaning two. It's placed at the beginning of the word, and it absolutely does change the meaning of the word because unicycle means something different, okay? And here are some examples. Again, this is chapter 3. We don't have to get into the meanings, but hyper, hemi, epi, post, and inter. Okay, so let's go back to my example of polysomnography and how to define medical words. So these are kind of the guidelines. You're gonna go to the suffix first, and that's graphy. And that's what that is written record. So I'm gonna go ahead and type up here, written record, okay? Then you're gonna go from the suffix, and it says number 2, define the first part of the word, whether or not it is your word root, combining form, or, oops, it's letting me move it, or prefix. In this case, we have a prefix, so we're going to go right here to the prefix, and that is poly. Sorry, I'm switching back between the pencil and typing. Okay, written record of, and poly means many. And I told you earlier that somna meant sleeps. So pencil. So you're going to go from the, it does not like what I'm doing. You're going to go from the suffix to the prefix, to the beginning of the word, and then to the word root. So here we have written record of many sleeps. And that's how you define polysomnography. You go to the middle of the word. So rather than saying sleep studies, you would say written record of many sleeps. Okay, so here's an example. So gastritis. You'd first identify itis, the suffix, and in this case, it means inflammation. And then you would go to the front of the word, and there is no prefix. So you would define gastra. And gastra means stomach. So gastritis is inflammation of the stomach, not stomach inflammation, inflammation of the stomach. Okay, let's try another one. So osteoarthritis, you'll start again with itis, and we know that that means inflammation. Now you'll go to the prefix, you'll go to the front of the word. We don't have, in this case, we don't have we don't have a prefix, but what we have is two word roots, oste and arthra. Okay, and osteo means bone, arthro means joint. So the suffix of this word is itis. So you go to the front of the word, and so it's inflammation of the bones and joints. Okay. This is another example. You do itis, that's inflammation. The prefix, we do have a prefix here, and I kind of gave it to you during the polysomnography example, but poly means many or much. And then nerve is the word root, meaning nerve. So this literally means inflammation of many nerves. Okay, in your textbook, there's some rules for building words. First of all, rule number one, if the word has a suffix that begins with a vowel, then you do not need an extra vowel. You can drop that combining vowel. Rule number two, if a suffix begins with a consonant, then you would need a combining vowel. You definitely need ketchup or mustard or mayo to make that smooth, right? You need a combining form, a vowel, to link one word root to another. So in our example of osteoarthritis, or this one, gastrointestinal, we definitely need that combining vowel because we've got two word roots. Even though I is a vowel, we still need it. Gastrointestinal. Okay, so in this example, knowing which rules go to which one, itis. So itis would be rule, and I'm kind of talking to myself here, but itis begins with I, and the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, right? So it is a vowel. So that is rule number one. So you do know combining vowel needed. So we don't say arthritis. That's too many vowels. We say arthritis. In this example here, gastrointestinal, it's rule number 3 because we have two word roots and a combining vowel. In this example, hepatocyte, we have site is the suffix. So that is rule number 2. The suffix begins with a consonant. So we do need the combining vowel. So we don't want to say hepatocyte. We want to say hepatocyte to make it flow. Okay. So the rest of these are just kind of explaining what I just said. Okay. Okay, pronunciation. Now for this course, you're not going to be asked to pronounce. We're not going to record you or anything like that, but you do need to know some of the rules. And in your textbook, there is a pronunciation guide in the back flap. And those pronunciation kind of hints are called, we call them diacritical marks. And they help knowing kind of what syllable to emphasize and things like that. Okay, this gets a little hairy, but bear with me. We'll do our best. So A and E and O and E, we only pronounce the second vowel. So bursy, pluri. Okay, you're going to say the second vowel. Okay. Soft sounds and sh are given to C and G if they're before E, I, and Y. So in this example, we say cerebrum. We don't say cerebrum. We say circumcision, sounds like an S, right? Not circumcision. Cycle, S, and gel, not gel. Gel, like a J. Okay. C makes a hard K sound when it precedes any other, also G. Anything other than E, I, and Y. So we say cardiac, and it kind of it pronounced like a K, cardiac. We say cast, not sast. And the G does the same thing. We say gastric, not jastric, right? No, no J. We make it a hard sound. Gonad and go. Okay. If we have C and H, they sometimes sound like K. So this we pronounce cholesterol, not like a K. Sorry, that's a bad K. Cholesterol, not cholesterol. This is pronounced cholera. And this is cholemia, like a K sound, hard K. So P and N in the beginning of a word. If it's in the beginning of a word, we do not say the P. Okay. When it's in the middle of the word, then we do say the P. So I kind of use this kind of silly example for this. I kind of said, at the beginning of the party, we're shy, we're quiet, we don't want to say our name, right? But by the middle of the party, we're saying our name. So this is pronounced pneumonia, pneumotoxin. We don't say pneumonia. I couldn't even do that. The P is silent. In the beginning of the party, we're shy, right? Then in the middle, right here, with the PN right here, we are going to say it. So we say orthopnea, hyperypnea. Same thing with S. In the beginning of the party, we don't say it. We call this word is psychology. There's no P pronounced, psychology. Psychosis. Okay. When we have an E or an ES on the end of a word as the final letters, E or ES, we pronounce them, ES right there, two together, and the E. We pronounce them as separate syllables. So this is syncope, not syncope. It's syncope, 3. This is systole, 3. Okay, not systole. This is nares, 2, not nares. When I is at the end of the word, the terminal I, we pronounce it like eyeball. So bronchi, fungi, nuclei. Pronounce like an I. Okay, so last little bit, this diacritical mark, this line above the A, is called a macron. And this indicates a long vowel. So if you remember from when you were little, I don't know if you do, the long vowels say their name. And the short vowels do not. The long vowels here are the macron. Long vowel. The mark is the macron. So we say rate, we say rebirth, We say I'll, not is'll. We say over and unite, not unite. So it's the vowel says its name. And vice versa, this diacritical mark is called a brev. And in this one, it's a short sound, and it does not say its name. So we don't say apple, we say apple. We say ever, it, not it. No, not note. And in English, if you want to make a long sound, if you wanted to make it a macron, we add an E to the end. But in this case, it's not. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 1. Be studying this, be looking at the rules. Like I said, we do not ask you to pronounce anything, but you do need to know these rules, the rules of how to decode a word, and as well as the rules of how to pronounce.